This is one of the most sought after basketball sneakers for this year. Hi everyone, MARKCHES here. Welcome to the channel. For today's video, I'll be giving you my performance review of the Sabrina one, or one of the most surprising basketball sneakers that ever released this year, because a lot of people have been buying this. And if you are interested, is it worth the buy and worth the wait for the Sabrina ones? Because a lot of it are being sold out right now. Let's find out. The Sabrina one is Sabrina UNESCO, if I pronounce it properly. First signature sneaker from Nike. She's a WNBA player, and she, I think, made the record for a three-point shot made in the All-Star game, the recent All-Star game. She's a baller rather, and her sneaker are looking mighty fine in my opinion. But in terms of performance, do they live up the hype that they're carrying right now? Because this has been in the Nike Bayou site. I had mine in the Nike Bayou customization site because I couldn't get a pair from my size. Because one of the reasons is, of course, this is a women's basketball sneaker, and the bigger sizes doesn't run that big. So I'm a US 11, so that's a women US 12.5, and unfortunately they often ran out after they are published in Nike's website, so I have to opt into the Nike Bayou. This review is kind of delayed because I have to wait for Nike Bayou to send this over to me. It actually took around 3 weeks before it arrived to me, so it's worth the wait. And let's talk about the color that I made. It's made out of like a beige, like medium gray, very off-whitish color, so that it won't get dirty that easily. And there's a chrome swoosh on the lateral part, and of course, if I'm doing the customization, I would prefer the gum bottom all the time because of how grippy gum bottoms usually are, and they're more consistent for traction. So I got this at size US women 13, so that's 11.5, because I don't know why there's no women 12.5 in the Nike Bayou, and it didn't run out because every time I refresh it, it's often that the 12.5 women's is not available. So I'm guessing it's not available for Nike Bayou. So let me know if you know the reason behind that. But now let's talk about in terms of performance. For the upper of the Sabrina ones, it features like a mesh textile combination with some knit here in the lateral part. As you can see, these knobs are like knits, and to be honest, I was really surprised with the upper of the Sabrina ones, given that the price is very budget-friendly price. But the material that they made for the Sabrina ones looks really premium for a textile finish. They put up this kind of scale-ish pattern to the upper, and I'm assuming this is a nod and a dedication to Kobe, because Kobe was Sabrina's kind of a mentor when she was growing up. And I think, maybe, correct me if I'm wrong, they look like Mamba scales all around. So I think that's a nod to Kobe too. And there's a thinner line of textile mesh, and it's kind of fused on the lateral and medial part of the sneaker, giving very nice ventilation to the sneaker. It's very thin around that area, and that's where the toe areas upper don't need that much break-in time for this material because it's really soft on the get-go. Plus, the durability is quite nice, especially on the knitted part. It really helped out in the lateral support of the sneaker. Plus, of course, this plastic piece that kind of reminds me on the plastic piece that is on the GT Cut one. So this kind of like catches your foot when you're moving your foot laterally and side to side. So this really works. And so the lateral support of the Sabrina ones, given that the materials upper are very thin, but it's still very supportive and durable. For the tongue part, it has some jersey-like material on the low to the mid part of the tongue, giving more ventilation to the tongue. And on the tongue, I don't know if it's all the same. I believe it won't be the same in all colorways. It will depend on what colorway. I just have this fabric material and it has enough cushion around the tongue. It's pretty comfortable. And speaking of comfort, as for the heel cushion, very nice heel cushion, very comfortable. It cups your heel and locks your heel very nicely. No heel slippage, and there's a plastic piece inside here for extra heel cupping and ankle protection. Plus also this swoosh, I think, is dual purpose. So it will prevent your foot from further rolling when you roll your ankle. So the swoosh will catch your foot around the heel, preventing your heel to roll a bit more. So I think that's genius in Nike's design here on the swoosh. And it looks really nice in terms of design when you look at it on the medial part. It's not really like they are pushing hard on putting the Nike swoosh here, but it places really nicely on the heel part of the sneaker. Let me know if you agree with me on that. So as for the cushion, it has a normal insole. I couldn't remove it right now because I used it and the glue is sticking to the footbed, so I couldn't remove it, but it's pretty normal insole, standard Nike insole. And the Sabrina ones has a top-loaded zoom unit in the forefoot. It's very similar to the jaw, but comparing it to the jaw, I could feel like the jaw is protruding a bit more. Maybe the jaw ones has a thicker zoom unit in the forefoot because I couldn't see an image of the zoom unit of the Sabrina ones and with the jaw ones. So but on the jaw ones, you would feel the zoom a little bit more compared to the Sabrina, if that's something you can compare on if you have the jaw ones. And another thing that is kind of similar to the jaw is the cushion part. On the jaw, it doesn't have React foam. This one has a full-length React foam below it. And I would say I was kind of disappointed in the full-length React of the Sabrina ones because mainly, don't get me wrong, it is good, but I was expecting a bit more compared to the PG6 because the React foam of the Sabrina ones is relatively thin, so you couldn't feel the maximum plushness that the React foam can give you. I wish that they thicken it up a bit to the point that it has the same thickness to the jaw ones. I think that's a good reference to make with the React foam of the Sabrina, but because this is really thin, it's thinner than the jaw ones. I really felt I was really close to the ground. I was wearing it side by side with the other sneaker that I'm reviewing. This is the Outsole 10, and the Outsole 10 is actually low to the ground, but this is lower when I was wearing them side to side. The React foam, I think Nike missed a chance there to make this really up there in terms of performance, because if they made the React foam a little bit thicker by just a bit, it will have more impact protection in the heel. At the same time, more impact protection in the forefoot and heel, and I think it will give more room for the zoom unit to expand. So that's just my thought. But the responsiveness on the cushion of the Sabrina one is really good because you're really low to the ground, close to the ground, so responsiveness is 10 out of 10 for the Sabrina ones. But if you're looking for cushion, I wouldn't suggest a Sabrina one. You could go with the jaw ones if you're into the Nike stuff, because the jaw ones has a little bit thicker phylon material compared to the Sabrina ones, even though that's not a React foam, but you can feel the plushness, especially at the heel part. If you want more impact protection in the heel, I would suggest go with another sneaker and not the Sabrina ones. But if you're a low to the ground player, a very shifty guard, and who plays really low, the Sabrina ones will surely be meant for you. One more thing that I wish that they will improve in the Sabrina 2s is the curvature of the outsole. I know this one is, like I said, it's low to the ground, but it's really flat on the forefoot. I just wish that because this is a very low to the ground sneaker, that they curve it up a bit more, like what they're doing with the Kyrie's. But I think this is more for Sabrina and her play style. So it's really flat on the forefoot. So it's really great for shooters who want to plant their feet faster, to be stable faster and get their balance way faster. So you would like this, especially it's really low to the ground. Plus this flat forefoot part, I mean, that's a very nice recipe for those types of player who wants or prioritize stability and balance very fast. But if you are a shifty player who wants more curvature to the outsole, I mean, there is a curve here in the medial part of the forefoot, but it's not too curved. If you can see from the front view, it's still flat here. So when you're doing some curve, it's really sharp around this corner. It doesn't have a very smooth curve. So that's just one thing that, or another thing that I wish Nike would improve in the Sabrina 2s. Now let's move on to the traction of the Sabrina 2s. And I have a rubber gum bottom, and the traction is very good. I mean, very squeaky. If you want that sound, squeakiness there. Rubber material is thick enough and it's very well spaced and it's multi-directional. You can hoop with this outdoor, but like I said, the cushion is very thin, so I won't think it's very ideal for outdoor use, but you can hoop with this outdoors. For all of you who doesn't mind minimal cushioning, you would like the Sabrina ones, and you can play with this for outdoor use. But for indoor use, the traction is on point. It grips really hard on the floor and the surface that I played on with this one, and doesn't gather that much dust too, given that this is a gum rubber bottom. As for the sizing of the Sabrina ones, I would say go true to size, because this is actually 11.5 in men's, and if I get true to size US 11, I think this would fit me perfectly, because I've heard some that they wish that they went half a size down, but maybe for me, if I went half a size down, it will be really snug around the midfoot, because the sneaker is kind of narrow. So if I went 10.5, I think it will be snug around the midfoot part of the sneaker. So I guess I would recommend true to size. And another thing that I didn't mention was the fly wires that are showing up, are peeking here, which is really nice. And you can see the fly wire below the lace loops. So the fly wire cables are attached to the lacing, so when you're pulling it up, and as you can notice, the angle of the fly wire is kind of slant. It's not going down straight. So what it does is, when you're tying up or tightening up your laces, the fly wire will be push or will pull your foot back to the heel so that you won't have any heel slippage. So, and I think that's a good idea that Nike made it diagonally and not just vertical fly wire, so it will have a better fit on the Sabrina one. So nice subtle detail on the Sabrina one that I really like. The weight of the Sabrina one for 11.5, 430. It's a pretty light sneaker, because I think, like I said, the React cushion is very thin, the upper is very thin, so very minimal sneaker. Very good performing sneaker, but I would say it will cater to a certain demographics of player who likes to play low to the ground and who's okay with minimal cushion. But if you're someone who likes cushion, who needs cushion, I would go with some other else. So let me know what you think about the Sabrina ones. Do you like them? Will you buy them? And have you played with them? Hit me a comment down below. Let me hear your thoughts. This has been MARKCHES once again. Thank you for dropping by this channel. I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.